guys, welcome back to another new video. Today we're going to be looking at the Razer Kiyo Webcam, a webcam that for some reason Razer was like, yeah, let's just make it look like a DSLR lens. Now there's two things you notice right off the bat when you first look at the Razer Kiyo Webcam. One is the ring light, the second is the size. I don't understand why this thing needs to be this big. Like, it folds out like this, and this is the clamp. That is how big the clamp is. Why does the bottom of the clamp need to be this big? Here's the Logitech C920 for reference. You see how small that is? Like, it's so much more compact than this huge thing. And this came out a couple years ago. Now in this video, I'm going to be mainly comparing it to the Logitech C920, just because I think this is pretty much in range what this thing can do, at least camera-wise. Now, another thing I really want to focus on is this ring light, because I feel like this is the main selling point for this, because this camera is around like 50, 60 bucks. Sometimes you can get a little bit cheaper on eBay. And this webcam runs for about 100 bucks right now. And it's pretty new, so have fun finding it any cheaper than that. Now, because I am comparing these two, and this one doesn't have a light and this one does, I decided, you know what, I'm going to throw in a $20 light that I got from Rite Aid and do all my Logitech testing with that and see how good this light compares to something like a built-in light on a camera. I feel like that's kind of fair, and I feel like that kind of evens out the price gap a little bit, because honestly, most people that use webcams for like streaming and stuff like that already have a Logitech C920. And a $20 light is sometimes a little bit better investment than going out and buying a whole new $100 camera. But our first test, we're going to find out how this looks on a green screen and how good it lights that up, because I feel like that's what most people want to use this for, as this is a webcam basically marketed to streamers. So let me go ahead and get out the Elgato green screen, get all that set up, and I'll be right back. Alright, so let me explain how I have the shot set up right here. I have my condenser mic positioned down here. I'm not going to be using the audio off the cameras in this video. If you guys want to see a separate video comparing the audio between them, let me know. But honestly, most webcams just have trash audio quality. I wouldn't really use it anyway. I mean, it's probably fine if you're like video calling or something like that. But this webcam is mainly marketed to streamers, so I'm going to stick to that concept throughout this entire video, and most streamers have a secondary mic. I also want to note that both cameras are in manual settings, except for focus. Focus is on autofocus, and as of right now, I am using the Kiyo's light. I have it on maximum brightness, and there's a few things that I noticed right off the bat. First thing is, they're both on autofocus, because if you try to mess with the Kiyo's focus, it starts glitching and lagging behind to where I get that weird effect that I had with like the Logitech Brio. If you guys haven't seen that video, I'll link it up in the cards. But it was like a full second behind, and like it was just really weird and trippy to like have it like that far behind with like the audio. Another thing I noticed about the Kiyo is it has a blue tint to it for some reason. I'm not sure if that's to like combat the lighting from the actual ring light itself. But no matter what I do, I cannot get a good black. Like, you can see my shirt here. It's black in the C920, but in the Kiyo, it's bluish. No matter what settings I mess with, it's still just that hue where either it's, like, completely washed out. Another thing that I did notice, though, is the Kiyo is a lot sharper than the C920. And I think that's because the Kiyo is actually focusing incorrectly, whereas the C920 looks a little out of focus. And even like trying to manually focus this is as focused as this camera gets. So I think there's a problem with the C920 in like really low light conditions. But overall, I'm actually surprised that this ring light is doing this good on a green screen. Honestly, you could take both of these cameras and size them down and stick them over top of something, and you wouldn't really notice. I think mainly you would notice the Kiyo a little bit more. The Kiyo seems to have more like artifacting and stuff like that, like back in the backside corners and stuff like that. And for some reason, if I can get it, on the Kiyo, you can see right here, it has a weird halo. Like, even if I turn the green screen off, I don't know, it's just really weird. Like, let me go ahead and switch scenes, so that way, this is the Kiyo camera. As you can see, if you size this down, it's gonna be a little funky. I try to get it the best I can without, like, starting to artifact. Like, you can see if, like, I move my hand a little bit, that'll start to like artifact inside of my hand because of the green screen. But this is literally the best I can get this. Whereas like the C920, I mean, I can see the edges, but they're nowhere near as prominent as this one is. So if you're using this for a green screen, I don't know if that's going to work. You might want another light on in the room or something like that. Just something to give you a little bit more definition to like grab onto. But one complaint that I always have with the C920 is see if like I move my finger, see how the Kiyo like tracks it better? The C920 has like a weird motion blur thing. And one thing that I did realize too is with this green screen, you can see my shadow with like the C920. It's this side. It's sorry, all these cameras and stuff, it's hard to like keep track of everything. But you can see on this side, see how I have the shadow on the side of my head still? The C920 retained that, and even like with my hand up in the air, the Kiyo is just completely getting rid of that shadowing. And like I can go back, I'm touching the green screen right now. You can see with the Kiyo, I got like a green halo around my hand. The C920 is actually doing really good with it. I mean, if I like press against it a little bit, you can see a little bit of a halo, but I don't know, the C920 seems to like define everything a little bit better, even though it's a little out of focus. Whereas like the Kiyo, like everything in the background is like kind of crap, but like my face looks really focused. Like you can see every little like hair, every little like eyebrow. It's kind of ridiculous. So for the green screen test, they seem to both have their ups and downs. But like I said, with most cameras, you can size it down in the corner when you're playing like gameplay and stuff like that, and you won't really notice. I think with the Kiyo, you might notice a little bit more because you might see a little bit of a box effect. Now, I do have the Kiyo on maximum brightness right now. Let me just go ahead and adjust this and see if I can show you guys the different... Actually, you know what? The Kiyo... No, I guess it does kind of leave a box. Let me switch to the Kiyo cam. Yeah, it leaves more of a box. It looked like it was kind of like blending it together a little bit. I thought maybe the light was a little too bright, but no, it doesn't seem to help at all. The one thing that's really weird about the Kiyo is like the lighting adjustment. It's like it keeps going and going even though you're at full brightness, so there's no like stopping point. Even when like you're turning it off, there's no stopping point. So I think that's kind of funky. I don't know why they didn't have like set points, but I guess that's because when you start up the camera, you can start at anything. But my next test I want to do, I want to use this light right here. Oh, there's a reflection in that. Okay, I want to try to use this light right here that I got for like 20 bucks at Rite Aid and just light everything up and see how it looks compared to like the ring light on this, because honestly most people have a C920. If you can get like a cheap light like this and you can like put it on top of your screen or something like that, that would be awesome because you would save yourself $100. So let me set that up and I'll mess with some of the settings and make it all look good, because I can tell you what right now, this thing, that's on the low setting, that's on the high setting. It's going to be a little bit different. Alright, so I got the bar light all set up on the top monitor, I have the Kiyo light turned off, and I gotta say, damn, the Kiyo looks good. I mean, I'm still getting a tiny bit of artifacting around like my neck and stuff like that, but I can fix that if I really like tweak it a lot. But honestly, if you're gonna put this as like in the corner for like a webcam or something like that, it's pretty damn good. I can say one thing though, it seems like the Kiyo is kind of all or nothing with like color balance. It's either, it looks a little bit like, I don't know, whitish, or it'll look like orangish. But I did finally get it to where like my shirt's actually like black. Actually, the C920 looks like it's lacking a little bit in like the saturation department for like darker colors and stuff like that. It actually started artifacting a lot more. You can see now the Kiyo is actually like picking up like some shadows and stuff like that. Actually, it's picking up shadows better than the C920 is. So it's almost like the cameras are reversed, just with like a better light, I guess you would say. Let me switch over to the Kiyo only cam, and yeah, I don't see any kind of corners or anything like that. You kind of see one there in the top corners, but honestly, I think you could definitely get away with that. You could chop that down a little bit. The C920 looks good on the corners and stuff like that. I mean, I'm getting a little bit of artifacting down here and in my t-shirt, but honestly, that would totally work too. The C920 actually looks a lot sharper than it did in the other test also. It seems like it's grabbing focus a lot better with the extra light. But I mean, this is like a huge, gigantic light bar compared to like a ring light on a camera, so there is that. But it's also a cheaper option to get the C920 and the light, so yeah. Honestly, I think the problem with the Kiyo is the light itself. The camera doesn't seem to be doing too bad at all. I mean, yeah, it is a little bad with like color accuracies and stuff like that, but it totally works. The only problem is you'd have to get the Kiyo and then get another light. So So that's a lot more expensive. If it wasn't $100 and it was a little bit cheaper, I'd say yeah, totally go for it. But honestly, the C920 quality with this light is perfectly acceptable. Alright, now this was only a green screen test. I want to kind of shift it over this way a little bit, where I have like all my like storage and stuff like that, and just see how it does with like a natural background and it's not like filtered out and stuff like that. So let's get that set up and I'll be right back. Alright, I have both cameras set up to look over there and this storage space that I have over here, where I have like my amp and like stuff like that. And the Kiyo can definitely get a little bit brighter, but it seems like it has a lot more like artifacting around like me specifically. Like it seems like whatever it zooms on, it can zoom like perfectly fine, but like anything around it seems to be like really fuzzy. To whereas like the C920, I don't know if it has like some kind of like smoothing feature, but it almost seems like it's consistent across everything. So it kind of blends everything together to where you don't have that issue. Like if I look at both of them, the Kiyo looks like it's like more focused on me, but it looks like there's a lot of noise going on in the background. And it's also like that weird blue tint that I was talking about before. It seems to only happen when I'm using the ring light on this thing. I don't know if it tries to like compensate for that or what it is. But like on the C920, it's more like almost natural kind of light. Like this cord actually looks red instead of like whatever the hell that color is over there. It's more like a vibrant, like almost pinkish kind of color. But I mean, if you're doing something like a video call or like streaming or something like that, I guess you could get away with it. I would prefer the C920 over the Kiyo a little bit. The Kiyo definitely has more definition in it. Like the C920, I can see it's a little bit blurrier, but I think that again is because it doesn't focus very well in like low light. Alright, now let me set the same thing up with the $20 bar light that I got it rated. Alright, so now I have it set up with the light bar, and I'm experiencing some weird things. Like, as you can see, the Kiyo's blue tint is like really noticeable here. And the C920 is just being immaculate at like lighting up everything, which is kind of crazy to me because the Kiyo actually did pretty good with the green screen. It seems like the Kiyo is like focusing on my face more and like completely disregarding everything behind. Like I'm getting a lot of artifacting back there and stuff like that, but it's staying like really detailed on my face. To whereas like the C920 again is even across the board. So that's kind of weird. Let me show you guys the problem I'm having with the Kiyo. Let me just go ahead and pull up the properties real quick. Alright, now here's the white balance setting right here. I only moved a tiny portion, and you can see how that's like orangish, and then it goes blue. Like, there is no in-between with this damn thing. Like, I cannot get this to where, like, even if, like, I turn down saturation. See, if I turn down saturation, I can get a more even look, but I'm, like, washed out almost. And, like, if I try to adjust the white balance from there, say if I do auto white balancing, and then give it a little bit more saturation, see how it's, like, an orangish tint to it? Like, that's kind of driving me nuts. It seems like there's no in-between with this damn webcam. That doesn't look too bad. But as you can see, like with my shirt looks better over in the C920, even though like the black is not as black. In the Kiyo, it looks almost like it's got like a bluish tint down here. And like the blue on my earring stands out a lot better on like the Kiyo than it does on the C920. I don't know, it's just got really weird like color balancing issues. I've tried everything I can to fix that. But like I said before, you can see like the background a lot better on the C920 than you can on the Kiyo. I try to bump anything up on the Kiyo and everything just looks completely washed out. Any kind of like brightness setting or exposure setting, and it's pretty ridiculous. It seems to only want to like focus on my face and just completely get rid of anything in the background. Which I mean isn't a bad thing when it comes to like streaming and stuff like that. Honestly, it's almost preferred in some instances to where like if you have like a dirty background or something like that, you don't have to worry about like everybody seeing everything. It's mainly going to be focused on your face. But again, this is the Kiyo, not with the ring light on, but with this $20 light that I got from Rite Aid, which is kind of interesting. I feel like this light does so much better than the Kiyo's light for like this camera, which is kind of funny because the ring light is attached to the camera. Another thing that I want to mention about the ring light, you need to keep the Kiyo very, very clear. If not, it has really, really bad lens flares. I've noticed that in a couple of shots now. I constantly have to keep wiping it down. Any kind of dust or something like that gets on it, and the dust, literally just the dust, reflects into the camera and screws the camera up. So, yeah. One thing I do want to mention, though, is if you bump up the exposure too much on the C920, the C920 starts to lag, like the problem that I had with the Kiyo with, like, messing with the autofocus and stuff like that. So, that's a weird thing to look out for, I guess. Yeah, I don't know. I'm just kind of rambling on at this point. I wanted to go over everything that I could possibly think that you guys would ask me about. If you guys have any more questions, anything that I didn't think of, go ahead and ask me down in the comments. But as far as my thoughts on this, I think you should just go to C920 and get like a pretty decent light. It seems like the Kiyo is not a one-stop shop at all. It seems like the light just kind of hinders the actual camera itself. That, along with the size of it, and just, I don't know. It just seems kind of clunky to me, not really a finished product, and it's not really like me hating on Razer or anything like that. I've got a Razer Black Widow Chroma V2 in front of me. I've got the Razer Mamba over here. I use a lot of Razer stuff, so it's not like I'm hating on them or anything like that, but I checked out the Stargazer and now the Kiyo, and they both seem very, very lacking. I feel like Razer just needs to buy like a camera company and just adapt their technology to the kind of good ideas they have already. But I got a feeling this Kiyo is going to go the way of the Stargazer, to where it just disappears and nobody really talks about it anymore. I think the only thing that it had going for it was the ring light, and it seems like the ring light is the biggest hindrance to the camera itself. So leave a like on this video if you guys liked my testing. Like I said, ask me any other questions about this thing. I can do other videos on it. Subscribe if you want more content like this, obviously, if I do put anything else up, and I will see you guys next time.